Well, joining me now from Beijing with more on the two sessions is the current affairs commentator, Einar Tangen. Welcome to the broadcast.
Hi, Susan.
What can we expect to hear from the transportation minister later today regarding the ride-sharing apps?
Well, that's anybody's guess at this point. I don't think they can pull them away because it would create a gaping hole, especially in the larger cities, Shanghai and Beijing, where these have become part of everyday life. So I think there'll be some sort of measure where they say if they're going to get rid of it, they're going to ease it out, or there's going to be new licensing and restrictions that the government will put on them to kind of even the field between taxi cab drivers and these new hybrids.
Einar, there's been a lot of focus on judicial reform and corruption. China has already demonstrated it's tough on corruption. What more will it be doing?
Well, the devil is always in the details. You know, people have to remember that China's judicial system, as we know it, is still very immature and developing. I mean, when you were talking earlier about the maritime issue, what it is this is admiralty law. This is something that's been well established in Western courts, but it's something that's very, very new to China as its trade is more outward bound. So they're going to be concentrating that. In terms of the rights and administrative review, whether it's criminal, civil, or against the government, these are the types of things that they have to tighten up on. It's really about the procedures that they use, these cross-intermediary courts that can hear these things without as much interference. These are always issues in any kind of government. So it's one of those things where you have to continually improve and tweak the system to make sure that it's working.
The National Committee of the CPPCC is closing later today after meeting for 12 days. Can you give us just some of the highlights?
Well, the highlights, people have to kind of keep this in perspective. As it says, you have a large group, very, very diverse from throughout the country, including minorities, women, everybody is there. And they're really kind of out there trying to represent who they feel are not being properly addressed by the community. So you have everything from people saying, let's give money here, let's give money there. The issue is, where does this get paid for, and how does it get implemented? And that's really what it is. These are suggestions that are being made, and then the government will take a look at them. I think the ones that have been most pronounced are those in environment, especially children's rights issues and things like this. There's been a lot of concern about what they call the parachute children, what's happening to them, and how the government should be addressing these kind of concerns, because this is the future of China.
President Xi certainly made headlines speaking to national lawmakers from the military. He's chairman also of the Central Military Commission. He said the People's Liberation Army, the PLA's future, is hinging on innovation and reform. What does he mean by that?
Well, yesterday he made an urgent call that they have to upgrade their strategic ideas and get ready for new things. I mean, China is struggling with this issue of how much military does China actually need and what is the role. There are questions in the past about the efficiency and whether there's tremendous and the amount of corruption within the military. You've seen him move very aggressively to completely reform from the top to the bottom how the military was organized and recasting their role, not as weakened, but it's saying we're maybe spending less money, but we're going to be spending more money in terms of technology and preparedness, and less money in terms of just employing a lot of troops. And so you saw, a couple of years ago, he said China is going to get rid of 300,000 soldiers.
Mr. Tangen, thank you for that, joining us live from Beijing.
Thank you.